Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're doing another review and rating, an R&R. Reviewing and rating all the different games I've been playing in the past 2 weeks with friends, family, and even solo. Now this week I've got 10 games I want to talk to you about. And if you are new to the reviews and ratings videos of mine, I'm going to quickly review a game in about 1 minute. And this doesn't mean these games are brand new. This means that I have not reviewed them on this channel before, whether they are new to me or an old game. It's just if it's an old game that I've played a bunch but haven't reviewed it, now's the time I'm going to do that. And I played a bunch of other games besides this, but I'm not going to repeat myself on games I've already reviewed. So these are new to this channel. Now I've got 10 games I'm going to be talking about today, and all these were pretty good games except for one. I would say they were all pretty good games. So it was a good couple weeks of gaming for myself. Well, let's just jump right into it, and I'm going to do this a little bit differently than I normally do my reviews and ratings. I'm going to do it a little bit more live, going to do it with a little bit less editing. And if you've watched a bunch of these reviews and ratings, let me know which style you like better. This one's just going to be a little bit faster, a little bit easier for me to do without so much editing. But just, yeah, let me know in the comments below if you like this style or my previous way. So let's just jump into our first game of the week. First game of the week is Demon Worker. Now, this is an older game, a game that not a lot of people have gotten their hands on, I don't think. This is a worker placement game. It's very much a resource management game. You are playing as these demons in hell, and you are, just like any other worker placement game usually is, you are placing out your workers and going to certain spots and getting resources from them. It's a resource management game. What sets this game apart is you have a ton of different types of workers, and they're all going to be certain types of demons. You start with 2 humans, but all the other ones are going to be demons. And each of these workers is going to be unique, and I like that about this game, is that each of these workers is unique, and there's a ton of different types of workers. And you know, some workers will, if you put them out to spots, they'll get you extra resources, stuff like that. And there's a kicker on this. You only start with these 2 human workers to start with, and they don't really have any special powers, but you're going to go to spots and buy new workers. You're going to have to pay to bring these workers out. But also, whenever you send out one of these workers, they're going to have different costs of just sending them to new spots. So, like I said, it's very much about managing your resources at all times. You're going to have resources to go to spots to spend them. You're going to have those resources just to send the workers out, not even to use them on the spots. So I like that about this game. It's a good game in my opinion, very highly underrated. It gets a 7.5 rating from me. It's one that I really enjoy. I like that unique worker aspect, and that there's so many different workers really brings the intrigue value up for me. So yes, Demon Worker gets a 7.5 rating, a very good rating. Let's go on to our next game. Our next game is a small filler type game. This is King of the Dice. This is a dice chucking, very simple game. You're going to roll dice, much like a Yahtzee system where you get to roll your dice 3 times. There's going to be all these cards in like a line, sort of like what is the game? Guillotine, kind of. You're going to have this row of all of these cards. And on the cards, they're going to have different specific goals that you have to meet. Like this specific character needs 3 greens and 3 reds to be rolled. And then you get to take that character and put them in front of you. They're going to be worth different values. There are also locations above them. And if the location matches the color of the person that you took, you also get to take the location, which is also worth an additional point. If you go and you can't fulfill any of the objectives of any of the cards during your 3 rolls, then you get this negative card. And each time these cards are going to be sliding down all along these locations and everything like that. It's a fine filler dice chucking game. It's one that I've actually asked to play a couple times. And it's not one that I'd want to play a bunch, but it's one that I would recommend for families. I give this a 6.5 rating for myself, so I think it's like an average game. But I would highly recommend this for families if you have small children. This is easy to understand, easy to teach game. So 6.5 to King of the Dice. Going to our next game. Our next game I actually have right in front of me. This is a small card game. It got some hype this last year. This is Regicide. And it is just a small deck of cards. And that's all that's in here is a deck of cards, your regular standard deck of cards. So you don't actually need to go out and buy this game. I felt like going out and buying this game and kind of supporting the designer and publisher. But you can just buy a regular deck of cards and look for the rules online. That's all you need is a deck of cards. And in this game, you are going to be using your cards in order to fight the royalty, basically. You're going to have to fight the jacks, the queens, and the kings. You're going to be laying these cards out and attacking them for whatever the value is of the cards that you do. So if you have a 7, you lay a 7, you attack the jack for 7. Or whoever you're fighting currently. You're going to have to go through the jacks, then through all the queens, and then through all the kings. If you do that, you win the game. But you also get to take the power of that suit that you played. Like if you play diamonds, you get to gather more cards in your hands. If you play hearts, you get to take discard piles and put them back into the deck of cards. And after you attack the royalty, they are going to attack you. So like jacks, I think they attack for 10, queens attack for 15, kings attack for 20. So it gets progressively harder and harder. This is a hard game. I've only beaten this game once, and I think I've played it like 12 or 13 times. I like it better as a solo game, though. It becomes substantially easier as a solo game, in my opinion. But it's decent at multiplayer. I think it is a good solo game, though. This gets a 7 rating from me, and I think it's really impressive what they've done with just a deck of cards. It's become one of my favorite card games that you can play with just a deck of cards. It's impressive. So yeah, Regicide gets a 7. Let's go on to the next game, our 4th game of this week. This is Meadow. Meadow was a very hyped game from last year, and I didn't get to play this game before I made my top 10 games of 2021. And I was kind of sad because I like the cute art that is on this game. Now in this is just like a tableau building game of you building this meadow. And how you are going to build these meadows is there is this grid of cards. And much like Quadropolis, you are going to have these tokens with numbers on them, 1 through 4. You are going to place that token on either a column or a row. And you are going to take the card that's pointing to with the number. So if you put a 2 facing a row, you'd go 2 into that row and take that card. And you have 1 through 4. You're going to place these into your meadow. And you need a ground to start with, which will have some sort of insect kind of on it. And then the cards that you place on top, these cards will have resources on them that they'll need to place them on top of these cards. Like if you have a worm on your ground, maybe you can play a butterfly next and put the butterfly on top of that. And then maybe on the butterfly, there's a bird card. You can take that bird. If it needs a butterfly, you can put that on top of that. You're going to be building your tableau that way, and you're going to get certain points for that. And there's also this other little area where it's kind of you're trying to get certain resources of certain types in order to get extra points. It's a very lovely game. It's very smooth. I like the drafting system, much akin to Quadropolis. I think it works really well. And I can see why it got that hype. It didn't disappoint me. I'm giving it a 7.5 rating, so it's really well done. I like how smooth this game is, and I love the cuteness of this game. And it's simple enough. You can teach it to most people. So 7.5 for Meadow. Going on to our next game. Our next game is an older game that I just recently got to start playing. This is Zombicide. Zombicide is a very, very, very popular series of games. And I never gotten to play it. It was on my bucket list. I didn't know if I would like it or not. This is a zombie game with zombie hordes. Hordes of zombies are constantly coming at you, and you're going to have to complete certain objectives for the different scenarios that you are playing. And you are killing zombies along the way, and they're not hard to kill usually, but there's so many of them. It encompasses zombie hordes as a whole. I think it does a really good job. I like the dice chucking element, even though I'm not a big person with dice games, but this one I liked quite a bit. And you're also playing as individual characters, which will have special powers. There's also an experience track that you're going to level up. The more zombies you kill, you level up and get more abilities. But when you level up, there's more and more zombies that will come out, so it kind of levels that out. I really enjoyed this game, and I'm excited to explore more into the Zombicide genre of games. So it's going to get an 8 from me, so I really enjoyed it. I didn't get to play it before I made my top 100 list. This would have landed somewhere in my top 100 probably, maybe on the lower half, but I think it would have probably just gotten into there, I believe. Going to our next game. Our next game is New York Zoo. This is a tile-laying Uwe Rosenberg game. He's made a ton of these games. You're going to be moving around this little board on the top, and you can land on tiles, place those tiles onto your own personal player board. You are trying to fill out your entire player board. The first person who does that wins. But in this game, you're going to also get animals to put on them. You're making your zoo. You're going to be putting these animals on there and populating animals. Whenever you cross certain thresholds, those animals will populate. You'll get another animal on them. If ever you fill out one of those animal padlocks, you get to take another tile from this other pile and place that into your zoo as well. So first person to finish wins. To me, it's just another tile laying game. It's like the cutest one to me because it's animals. I like the pieces. It looks nice. But all in all, it's just another one of those games, another one of those Uwe Rosenberg tile laying games. I mean, like Barren Park and Gingerbread House. It's kind of like that. There's so many of these games. And this one, while I think it's cute, I don't think it stands out. I don't think it's bad game, good game. It's a good game, but it's going to get that average rating of 6.5 because I don't think it does anything too unique that stands out other than it looks nice. So 6.5 for New York Zoo. Going on to our next game of the week, we have the only game that I thought was a not very good game. This is Bugs. This is a small card game where you are going to be building swarms of cards. You have bugs numbered 1 through 9. There's only 1 9 and there's 9 1s. So the less numbered, the smaller cards have more numbers in them. And you are going to be placing these cards. You can place all the insects of one number down at the same time. So you could put 3 4s down. The next person can add another 4 to that, or they can try to beat the total of that swarm. So instead of 3 4s, which is 12, they could put, say, 3 5s to make it 15, and the next person would have to either play an insect of that number or beat that swarm. And if you can't, you have to take those cards you're going to play until someone doesn't have any cards. Everybody else will get 1 point for every card that's left in their hand at the end of the round. You're going to play 6 rounds. This game, it feels like a mass market game, much like Uno or Skippo, something like that. It's not one that I enjoyed. I didn't hate it, but I'm giving it a 5 rating. It's not one that I want to play again. It took too long, in my opinion, for how simple it was as well. And as soon as we played it, like I only played it once, but that's all I needed to play it. And as soon as we played it, the other people I was playing with liked it a little bit more. So I was like, you can just have that game. So yeah, Bugs is going to get a 5 rating from me. Going to our 8th game of the week is Mission Red Planet. Now, I just talked about Mission Red Planet when I did my top 100 video recently. So obviously I like it quite a bit. In Mission Red Planet, you are going to have a hand of cards, and they're labeled 9 through 1. And everybody's going to pick one of those cards at the same time, and then whoever's first player will count down the rocket because you were sending these people to Mars. And he goes, 9. Anyone who played a 9 gets to go and do their actions. And the actions are pretty much always putting an astronaut on one of these ships, trying to fill these ships up and launch them to Mars. So you do that, and he goes 8, 7, 6, counting down. Everybody's taking their actions on their turn of their card that they played. And like I said, most of the actions are just putting the astronauts on these rockets, and they're sending them to Mars. And when at the end of the round you put all the astronauts on Mars, and then it becomes this area control sort of game. There's going to be several sections of Mars, and there's going to be 3 different scoring times during the game. If ever it's a scoring time of the game, whoever's in a certain section, they have the most there, they're going to score those points for whatever the points are for that section. You're going to score 3 times. It's a very simple game, very easy to teach. I've played this one a couple times in the last couple of weeks, and and it's a very fast game. We played a 6-player game, and I think it, with explanation, with me teaching it plus playing it with 6 players, I think it took us less than an hour even still. So it's very fast, and once people know how to play, it runs very, very smoothly. So I'm going to give Mission Red Planet an 8. It's a game that I really enjoy. It's an older game, and it's still sticking around my collection. Going to number 9. Number 9 is a simpler game. This is Karuba. Karuba is sort of this bingo style game. Every player is going to have a pile of tiles, and all of the tiles are going to be the exact same. They're going to be path cards, and whoever's the first player is going to pick randomly one of these tiles. Their tiles are going to be flipped upside down so they can't see. And everybody else is going to take that exact tile that they picked and place it onto their own player board. You are trying to build paths for these people, these 4 explorers that you have, to these treasures. And you can either place a card or you can discard that to move your explorer. So you're going to be building these paths or discarding those cards and moving them along, trying to get them to their treasure spots. This is a very simple game. I enjoy it, but it's not an amazing game, but it's one that I would say is a good gateway style game. It's going to get a 6.5 rating from me. It's one that I enjoy, but I'm not going to want to play it all the time. So 6.5 for Karuba. Going to our very last game of this week. This is a roll and write game. This is Dinosaur Island Rawr and Write, which is a re-implementation of Dinosaur Island, which I also own. And this is a very step-by-step game, much like Dinosaur Island is, if you've ever played that. But this is going to be, you're going to be rolling dice and drafting those dice. And those dice are going to have different things on them, like dinosaur DNA. They're going to have roads that you're going to need to build. They're going to have money. They're going to have a few other different things, security that you're going to need. You're going to draft those dice. Then, after that phase, you go on to this sort of worker placement phase, where you're going to take those dice that you drafted and use them as worker placement pieces. Put them on different spots. Different things will do similar things to what the dice actually do. You're going to be able to get more dinosaur DNA. You're going to build roads. You're going to get more security. Or you can go and actually make dinosaurs using the dinosaur DNA that you have collected. After that phase, you are going to go to this other part, and you are going to activate all of the scientists that you have bought with money. And the scientists are going to give you different special abilities. They're going to give you a one-time ability, then they're going to give you another ability that you're going to activate at different times during this phase that I'm talking about. So you're going to activate all of your scientists. You are then going to go and do a tour of your dinosaur park, going to each building that has roads to it. And each new building that you've built for this specific tour, you're going to get more excitement. You're going to get excitement from a couple different things. From the tours, maybe from some of the scientists you've built, and maybe some from these dinosaurs. The more dinosaurs will always give you more excitement. I mean, the more dangerous dinosaurs will give you more excitement. If you build a T-Rex, you're going to get quite a bit of excitement compared to some of the more calmer herbivore dinosaurs. So you're going to cross off certain spots on your excitement track, and then you're going to get whatever the bonuses are for the excitement track. However far along, you're going to get money again. You're going to get more DNA. You're going to get more security. If ever there's more danger, more terror than you have security, they are going to do bad things to you. But unlike in the original game, I think this is a little bit easier to control the danger in your park. I haven't played it 4 times. I haven't had much trouble controlling the danger in my park. So, and I like it, and I like it more than Dinosaur Island, actually, because I can get this to the table much, much quicker, actually. So I'm going to give it a 7.5. I thought it was a good roll and write. I think it's a really good implementation of Dinosaur Island. I might get rid of Dinosaur Island now because Dinosaur Island is such a table hog. It's hard to get that one to the table. I can get this to the table anytime I want to. So it's going to get a 7.5 rating, one that I really enjoyed. And that will wrap up this reviews and ratings episode. If you let me know down below some of what you think about some of these games, if you agree with me, don't agree with me, or some of the games that you haven't played that you're excited to try out now. Either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.